We'll take you to some live pictures of Donald Trump in Saudi Arabia on his visit there, shaking hands with people, being welcomed by the Saudi military and other dignitaries. The man to his left is the Crown Prince, who is widely believed to be responsible for ordering the arrest and dismembering of Jamal Khashoggi in the Saudi embassy consulate in Turkey. So that's the kind of company being kept there. Donald Trump has gone to the Middle East to deepen ties with Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. And in Qatar, he hopes to celebrate with the family of Eden Alexander after Hamas terrorists in Gaza freed this last American hostage that they've held since the October 7 massacre 584 days ago. Now, Trump will also be having talks about ending that war in Gaza and making an accord between Israel and the Saudis, which was on the cards for a while. So that's one picture. This is Donald Trump working for freedom. There's also another picture, one of bluster and largely failure in foreign affairs. Trump promised to quickly end the wars in Ukraine and Gaza, but his ceasefire plans for both wars have failed. It's true that Alexander has just been released, but Hamas still holds the bodies of 4 other American Israelis, plus a lot of Israelis themselves, and it gets murkier. Alexander is actually expected to fly to Qatar with his family to thank Trump personally for his release, and Trump has thanked Qatar in turn for helping with that. But Qatar is also the Trump ally that hosts the leadership of Hamas, which kidnapped Alexander. And Qatar is now giving Trump a $600 million present, a presidential jet to replace his aging Air Force One. And that is a personal gift. Something stinks, but Trump says this gift is a no-brainer.
If you look at some of the Arab countries and the planes they have parked alongside of the United States of America plane, it's like from a different planet. And it's close to 40 years old. If we can get a 747 as a contribution to our Defense Department to use during a couple of years while they're building the other ones, I think that was a very nice gesture. Now, I could be a stupid person and say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane. We give free things out. We'll take one, too.
Joined a short while ago by Sean Spicer, Donald Trump's first White House spokesman. Sean Spicer, thank you for your time. What is President Trump hoping to achieve in this visit to the Middle East?
Well, I think first and foremost, what we like to call foreign direct investment. There are rumors that we could see upwards of $1 trillion of investment in the United States. I was there with him on that last term when he took that trip to Saudi, and we walked away with several companies making serious investments in the United States, buying our military equipment, making investments in other manufacturing and technological advances. So when you go on a trip like this, Andrew, the staff has what we like to call deliverables. That means that they have pre-negotiated with the countries that you're going to visit what they hope to accomplish. So in the case of the last time we had this terrorism center in Saudi, that was a big announcement. And so there's things that they will announce in each host country. And my guess is that you'll have some peace agreements, you'll have some investments. But the president obviously chose to go visit this area of the world again because he feels as though there's going to be significant progress made that will benefit the United States. So I think first and foremost, massive amounts of U.S. investment that will be announced over the course of the trip.
And of course, Saudi Arabia has got a big influence on the world oil price, depending on how much it agrees to release or not. And it's given Donald Trump a big favour by pushing downwards the prices. So that's been great. The hostage, Eden Alexander, what did Donald Trump offer in exchange to Hamas for his release?
That's a great question. My guess is that it was, I'm not going to destroy you guys right now. As you know, Prime Minister Netanyahu, I think, is looking for a green light to go in and just destroy Hamas. My guess, and I don't know this to be fact, just to be clear to your viewers, is I have a feeling that that last American was, hey, can you buy us some time? Because as you know, Netanyahu, I think, is chomping at the bit to make this thing happen. Regardless, I think at the end of the day, it keeps showing, you think about these hostages and prisoners that were in Russia, now the last American under Hamas. Donald Trump gets credit for bringing them all home. And he did this during his first term. He's doing it now. I think sometimes the pace of what's happening, Andrew, makes us forget that. So you had the hostage, Eden Anderson, released. You had the Ukraine Russia discussion happening about these talks in Turkey. You had Pakistan and India come to a ceasefire. You had our big trade deal with China discussed. You had Donald Trump make a huge, monumental announcement about prescription drug prices here in America, and then movement forward on our internal discussion on tax reform, all in a 48-hour period. And I just chuckle every once in a while, and I think I didn't finish half of the list that I had for the weekend, and it had to do with like meaningless chores around my house. And that's what he did between Friday and Monday morning.
Meanwhile, though, the airplane, I don't know why he spoils his record with things that, are really controversial like this. Why would Qatar give Donald Trump this $600 million Australian dollars, this $600 million present, and why would Trump accept it?
Well, as he said earlier today, why wouldn't I accept it? Somebody's going to be a $400 million U.S. plane. What are you going to say no? I think part of it is Boeing couldn't deliver. I was there in the first term when we made a deal for the new Boeing retrofitted Air Force Ones. They couldn't deliver on time. Qatar offered up this retrofitted 747 Boeing plane. I think part of it is because he's a deal maker. Why would you not take it? Look, I think anybody who knows Donald Trump knows that, you're probably not going to get much for it. I think the Qataris probably get a little bit more attention on the trip, but he would be foolish not to accept it.
I don't know. If Joe Biden accepted it, I think the Republicans would have plenty to say. Trump would have plenty to say.
Oh, there would. But I think that absolutely, but I would question whether he actually knew what he was doing. I mean, look, the whole issue in 4 years of Joe Biden is whose hand was on the tiller, right? I mean, that was the bigger issue. There's no question who's running this country, who's in charge. Donald Trump is leading the way, and no one doubts that. There's a big difference. You can question whether or not he should or he shouldn't, but at the end of the day, no one is questioning who the leader of this country is and who is the ultimate deal maker when it comes to the trade and other deals that this country's faced with.
Oh, no, I'm with you on that. The tariff war you mentioned, Donald Trump is claiming a breakthrough in a crisis. He actually started with his tariff wars, really hiking tariffs to, 145% on China. China responded. Now they've agreed to a 90-day pause on the tariffs they've imposed on each other. The US is going to drop its tariff on China to 30%. China's agreed to lower its rate on US goods to 10%. What has been the gain in the end?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I think we got some concessions on addressing fentanyl, which is killing a lot of Americans. I think China has had its head in the sand when it comes to acknowledging its role in putting fentanyl into the communities throughout America. So that's big. Number two is I think it got him to the table. It recognized that Donald Trump was serious, and it exposed, in my mind, threadbare, the reality of what's going on in China, right? For so long, everybody said, well, China is basically a dictatorship. Xi Jinping can do whatever he wants. He's got less to lose than Donald Trump because he can exact a lot of pain on his people. And what we saw was that they don't have that far to go. Their markets dried up. They weren't exporting much. And it showed that there's actually a lot less there. It's sort of like, I don't know how familiar the folks in Australia are with the movie The Wizard of Oz, but, the curtain got pulled back and you realized they weren't as tough as some people thought they might be.
Yeah, I think China was actually redirecting quite a bit of the exports to other countries. But yes, they're in a more fragile state than a lot of people recognise. But I guess we'll see what the final deal is.